All right, Harrison, so your assistance exercises, there's 4 of them, 3 of them are isometric, 1 of them is not, that's the Renegade row. So the way that the circuit is set up is it's going to be 20 seconds on, 20 seconds rest when you're doing the isometrics. So that's exercises 1, 2, and 4. For the triceps, once you finish 2, don't just ignore the clock, walk over, do your 3rd exercise, and then when you're ready, maybe at the top of a minute, you can get into the 4th one, and that'll take you all the way through. Once you've done the 4th exercise, you're going to rest for about a minute, and then you're going to go back to the top, and you're going to repeat that 2 to 3 rounds, okay? So the first one's going to be a suitcase carry. I don't have a kettlebell, but basically you're going to take a pretty heavy kettlebell and hold it in one hand, and then you're going to do a fast walk as you're holding the kettlebell. So by fast walk, I mean you're really swinging the opposite arm as you go through this, and you're trying to like walk like you're off in the bathroom, and you've really got to go to the bathroom. So you're going to be booking it, but you're not going to be running, right? Big arm swing, big steps. The weight that, or the side that has the weight holding it is not swinging. It should be heavy enough to where it's just kind of stable and staying there the whole time. The next one you're going to do is a rear foot elevated split squat isometric. Feel free to hold a light kettlebell up in the front, goblet position like you always do with your elbows slightly tucked in, or it can just be body weight. It's totally up to you. I don't have a bench, but I will show you. Basically, what we're going for on this is we're trying to get you in a good position on that front hip. I'm most concerned with what you're feeling, what's going on with your front leg, because if you're feeling all the right stuff on the front side, then chances are everything else is going to look pretty good. So you'll have your back foot up on the bench. It's going to be 2 main things to think about. One is your head staying back and your belly button staying back, and the second one is feeling your front heel, like focusing on your front heel and nothing but your front heel. You're going to feel your weight try and come backwards on the front side hip when you do that. Avoid being up on the ball of your foot, avoid being on your toe. And what will happen as you drop down is you'll feel your heel, and then you should feel the outside part of your foot. And I want you to almost think about just trying to point your kneecap out to the side that way. And when I do that, I'm turning my upper leg out, and I'm shifting my weight onto the outside part of my foot, and I really feel my heel as I do this, okay? You may feel a gentle stretch in the back of your hip, but you should feel a lot of quad, you should feel a lot of glute, maybe a little bit of hamstring while you're in that position. So basically your upper body should be completely stacked over your hips, and your legs should have this nice scissor action with 2 90-degree angles on either side. Don't take a huge step out away from the bench. It's going to be impossible for you to get your weight back and drop straight down. So you might have to play around with it a little bit, just do body weight work with this until you feel like you've got a good position and you understand what I'm talking about, and then you can add weight on top of that, okay? The Renegade row is going to be the exact same way as we did before in a push-up position, okay? Keeping the head back and the ribs back, and you're going to row, letting the shoulders turn. You can assume a wider base of support with your feet. It's less reps, 6 to 8. So feel free to try and add 5 to 10 pounds based off what you did previously, but it's a hard exercise to add big jumps in weight on. The very last one is going to be a lateral lunge. This is very important. You can do this body weight or with 1 dumbbell. So if you're doing it with the dumbbell, if I'm stepping to my right, the dumbbell will be in my left hand. Okay, if I'm not doing it with the dumbbell, then I'm just going to reach my left hand forward. And the goal is to basically be in a really, really similar position as the split squat, but this one's going to feel more like a hinge than it will like an actual squat. So I'm going to shift my weight onto this side, the right side, and I'm going to think about my hip going straight back as far as I can get it, almost till I start to feel a stretch in this area. And I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm really concentrating on just feeling my heel down on the ground. So I'm not letting my weight shift forward on the ball of my foot. And as you get into this position and start to get more comfortable, you'll feel your body start to shift. And as your body starts to shift, that leg will start to roll out a little bit. That's going to allow you to load your ankle properly and be able to start to slow yourself down and prepare to push back off if you're going into a cut. So kind of the same idea is once I get into that really deep hip hinge and I'm holding this position, I'm going to keep my head back and I'm just going to think about this knee going that way, just a little bit. So you can still see it's pretty much lined up with the middle of my foot. Right now, like my glute, or my quad, my glute, a little bit of hamstring, I can really feel a lot of stuff going on in there. So you're going to hold this position, take nice gentle breaths in, and just think about trying to breathe out nice and slow. big breath in. You'll hold it for 20 seconds and then switch sides. Again, if you're doing the dumbbell goes here, and in both variations, we're just trying to turn. So I'm gonna either throw my hand back, if I've got the dumbbell down, I'm gonna reach my arm forward if I don't have a dumbbell, okay? So that'll be your assistance work. Again, you're gonna start with a suitcase carry, fast walk, and then you're gonna go into the split squat isometric hold. Again, all this stuff can be body weight. Then you go to your renegade row, and then you're gonna finish that lateral lunge, all right? 2 to 3 rounds, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll go on and have the rest of stuff for the rest of the week. Day 3 will be very similar to day 1 with some small changes, but the overall structure will be the same. So the way that this program is set up is you'll have a warm-up, 2 primings, and then your indicator lifts, your primary lifts. Preference, if there's a time crunch, is to do that block. So warm-up, priming, and then in this case your squat and your push press before practice. Shouldn't feel fatigued, just get through it, go to practice, take a break. Later in the day, if you don't have a game, you can knock this other stuff out in the room if you want to, or you can go back into the facility if that's an option. Go through the isometric stuff a couple of times, then you should be in a pretty good spot.